in this country. And when I'm doing my work, I'm executing the constitutional mandate of my office. And I'd like to thank my team, colleagues, members of parliament, and staff that have backstopped these endeavors and have enabled us to undertake these excursions that far. You are aware that I visited health centers and schools. In Nakaseke, I visited Choko Health Center Falls. In Luweero, the General Hospital, and the Kalagala Health Center Fall. In Uvuma, the Health Center Fall. Kaolo Hospital in Wikwe, Bali Health Center in Kayunga, and Entebbe Grade B Regional Referral Hospital. And I can speak without contradiction to the deplorable state of the health care system in Uganda. The neglect, the no care attitude, the general decay, the lack of basic access, the lack of provision of basic facilities, the huge human resource gap in these areas, the health centers, the underfunding amidst a growing population. And I can pick particular facilities for your attention. We were in Uvuma, and we were advised that this is Center 4 in Uvuma. First of all, is grossly understaffed. It has a single incubator for neonatals that is shared. Just imagine 2 kids sharing an incubator, which is supposed to carry one. They informed us they're stretched and stressed, and there's no help in sight coming to them soon. Luweero is a general health center on the highway, no facilities. The maternity ward is as congested as they come. You saw us in Kaolo Hospital, staff not paid for 3 months. They lack basic lab equipment. Every health center for at least must have the basics: a general lab, ultrasound machines, or scans. They're lacking in many of these, and they have no budget provision for them, not even in the coming month. Kaolo and Entebbe Regional Referral. Remember, Entebbe Regional Referral, it is staffed up to 16%. 16% staffing level at Entebbe. And the superintendent informed us that if you find the staff away from duty, he's not even able to call because he's aware they are stressed. Either somebody worked for the last 24 hours and therefore unable to come to work, and somehow it is Entebbe which is supposed to handle all manner of clients, tourists, including State House staff, including National Medical Stores staff in the vicinity. That's the level of neglect we're talking about. Mukono Hospital is an exception because they informed us that every month, at least they are able to handle 800 mothers giving birth, but they have 6 beds in the maternity ward. 6. So this is the healthcare system for you as citizens. And all these health centers we visited, none of them has a functional mortuary. None of them has a functional morgue. So if you have a death, you must find your way somehow. And in one of the facilities, the health workers informed us that, if there is a death, the body remains in the ward with the living. So you have the dead people in a health center, in a ward, because there's no morgue in the facilities. So that is the healthcare system for you, and you see it from a distance. You visit schools in all these districts. I'm very sure you are very keen people. You saw children in Luweero and Nakaseke sitting on Okwogera and stones. Yes, stones. Because you have energy, a comfortable stone is about 10 kilos, so you carry it in the class and make sure you protect it. So I asked the children and the teachers about the Okwogera. So do they live in the classroom? No, you carry a Kavera home and then return the following day. So that is NRM for you after 42 years in Luweero, because in Luweero they have been there for 42 years. And in other places of the country for 38 years. That's education for you. In one of the schools in Luweero, a primary school with 900 pupils and 13 teachers, and the regime with chest thumping about steady progress. That's the kind of future they're preparing for our children. Securing their future seated on Okwogera and blocks. Who are in Muvuma. The story of Muvuma is one of the movie. Because you have a government private school with 450 pupils with one teacher and no classroom. An improvision of shelter, not even shelter, here unspeakable. That is St. Mary's Muvuma Primary School. I'll share with you this document that you can really document, and as the media, the eyes and the ears of the country, you can physically go and see for yourselves. And I'm sure I was with some of you in the field. I'm not really speaking in jest. I'm talking about the reality that is facing us and the nation. The lack of drugs and basic sundries in these facilities. Every health center receives 6 cycles of drugs provision from the national medical stores. Most of them we visited, the financial is ending next week, have not received more than 3 rounds out of 6. And when we ask them what happens with the patients, you have mothers that are not given mother kits. Many of them since November last year have not received any provision. And nobody in this regime has the courage and the humility to come out and inform the country of this crisis. That health centers are lacking basic drugs, basic sundries, and people are in Kololo just stamping about progress. The drugs are not there. They're being fed on lies and documents every day from national medical stores. One of them informed us that national medical stores send them SMS that the drugs are coming. So in the cycle, they receive a message, SMS from NMS as a provision. So the surge they get in form of drugs is a message, an SMS from national medical stores. The drugs never come. So the duty they undertake is to check the patients and write the drugs for them to go and buy. That is the Ugandan taxpayer paying the price. That is the transaction cost of keeping a entire regime over the last 38 years. and 42 years in Luweero. I've talked about the lack of basic equipment in these facilities. And I want to challenge the media to go out and physically interrogate these issues so that we can really work together. This country is going down the drain as all of us are watching. The work we are doing should not be a preserve for politicians, but every caring citizen must get interested in abuse of the duty of government by the NRM regime. I've talked about the staffing gaps in these facilities. They're really glaring. The health workers are so stressed and stretched. None of the facilities we have sampled, has staffing up to 60%. The WHO minimum is 65%. But none of the facilities we visited so far has a staffing level. The highest we visited had 52. So that is Uganda for you. Another area of our interest in these excursions, you are aware of the problem of land grabbing in Uganda particularly. In all these communities, we have visited citizens that have been complaining about land grabbers in their midst. Our first interaction was with the people of Luweero in Zirobe sub-county, where the army, the police, connived to assist a one Lutangambwa, something like that, to evict citizens from a whole 2 villages. He has a battalion of goons, and these are testimonies on camera. They are raping women, they waylay and rape girls coming from school. What is strange about all this is that the locals informed us that the police is aware, the RPC taking in charge of Luweero is aware, the DPS of Luweero is aware, the OCCID Luweero is aware, and they've been assisting Lutangambwa and others to visit mayhem on these citizens, and nobody cares somehow. The citizens have abandoned their houses. There's a mother that really came and informed us in open that they attempted to rape her from her house in front of her own children. And this is Uganda for you. The issue that they must traumatize them and you must abandon their land and go. They brought cattle, and their cattle has been grazing on their food in the gardens. The maize, the cassava, the potatoes, the bananas have all been eaten. Guess what? Security is aware, pretending over this mayhem in Zirobe, on a village called Manyama. Can't visit this village. It's not anywhere on Mars. Manyama village in Zirobe sub-county is a living village. They are human. They will tell you the kind of mayhem, the kind of anarchy visited on them by men in uniform with the superintendency of the police and the military in this country. We were in Mukono on a village called Namataba. The military is evicting people from their land. The locals informed us of the commandant of the UPDF engineering brigade. Sold land to them, they paid, he's now evicting them, he raised them in their houses, and they're hunting them. Go to Namataba. The village is called, actually, the village is also Namataba. That's the township and then the village. The locals will tell you, give their testimonies. So, the UPDF, actually in Namataba, we found UPDF deployed in the village. They are over roaming to chase away locals so that the commandant of UPDF brigade occupies the place. To which they bought and paid, and they're not chasing them. And I hope the gentleman is called Brigadier Besije Benkunda, wherever he is. I hope his commanders are listening in. So please, the media, go and visit these communities and find evidence. I was there, they spoke openly, there was no secret meeting. This is what we are going through. So land grabbing, everywhere I go, the UPDF is mentioned. We're also interested in fishing communities. In Muvuma, the UPDF. At Katosi, the UPDF. In Entebbe, the landing site is called Chibungu, same problem. Kasenyi, same problem. And this is the claim by the people. Namely, that the whole idea of stopping illegal fishing is a hoax. And their reasons are very simple. One, the so-called illegal nets are supplied by the same people who arrested them. Two, that when they are arrested, the same people who arrested them actually sell the fish to fish exporters. They actually know that while they are being chased as illegal fishing, the UPDF is actually involved now in active fishing. The UPDF, as we speak now on the lakes, is actually, we have a UPDF fishing brigade. Yes, we have a UPDF fishing brigade. They are actually involved in fishing. They export fish. We do not know who actually steals the money from these proceeds. We do not know where they pay the taxes. The locals singled out boats with the inscription, Wacha Wasema. Wacha Wasema. They fish anywhere, anytime, escorted. Where the locals are being declared as illegal fishing, for them, there's no problem. So the whole idea of stopping illegal fishing in the big hoax is non-existent. It's a ploy to ensure that the local citizenry are deprived of means of living, to allow a few regime functionaries supported by the UPDF. Yes, the UPDF must explain their continuous presence on the lake, even after passing the law that banned them from being there. But the locals have informed us of a UPDF fishing brigade, and they have no doubt. They can even mention names of who is doing what, and the country must be concerned. All of us must be concerned about the deprivation, an attempt by the UPDF to be used to deny citizens the right to a source of income and sustenance. Of course, we are keenly interested in matters of the environment. Again, the military, the UPDF, at Kasenyi, where there's been a lot of complaints about environmental degradation, the locals we visited, they informed us they were using their own rudimentary tools to extract sand and clay for making bricks, and sand mining using their rudimentary tools, hoes and spades. They were chased away. Some of them are still languishing in prison for that activity. But in the meantime, there is a huge industrial sand miner escorted by and operated by the police and the UPDF in the same locality. Their roads have been destroyed. by the huge trucks spreading the sand. The village called Nkumba Central, and the area MP can give testimony. The Honorable Matok Charles were with him. If you want to find out the conditions in Nakaseke, the Honorable Alan Mayanja was with us. The area MP can testify. If you want to find about issues in Namataba, the Honorable Simbwa is here. He can give you testimony of what happened. If you want to find out the happenings at Katosi, the Honorable Kayondo is here. He can tell you. We're not here to rumor monger. These are the realities. If you want to find out what is in Kayunga, the Honorable Chavanda is here, can bear testimony to the happenings there. So that is the state of our country. So ladies and gentlemen, of course we explored as we moved the extent of the infrastructure road decay. Some years ago, this regime provided in good roads. You can now see the collapse of the road infrastructure with the eventual collapse of the regime, unheralded. The roads, you can only trace where to pass, but you cannot call it a road. But you can make a trace and find your way to where you wish to go. As an office and as the opposition in Parliament, we are going to continue. One of the peculiar findings in our excursion, especially in the schools, all these schools we visited have no toilets. But the teachers told us that somehow the children improvise. They improvise. And this improvisation is also shared with the teachers. The teachers have to really make sure the children are aware and they sneak in and then disappear back. Yes. They have no toilets. And actually, the children starve at school. In one of the more disturbing situations, again in Luweero, the teacher informed us that they tried to ask parents to make away with the 20,000, 25,000 to give their children some porridge at lunch. And they said in a school of 900 pupils, only 200 paid. So we did ask the teachers, so then what happens with the rest? Then they said, no, they just observe the others take. And if as an accident there is some porridge remaining, they can share out with where they seem to be bad loaf and young. That's how desperate our children have been these two. And then the other day, I had a regime function and they said that children must take milk. Are we deluded? What level of delusion is that? So children can't even access basic food, basic survival at school, and then somebody is saying they will access milk. That is the state of affairs, ladies and gentlemen, in our schools. And I want to invite all citizens to get interested, to be interested in the state of affairs. The involvement of the UPDF in all the areas we found, especially abusing citizens, land grabbing and fishing communities, is an area in which we are keenly interested. Remember, our shadow minister for fisheries, I saw her around, yeah, she's here. She already put the House on notice of a notice of a motion for the House to investigate the violation of human rights amongst the fishing communities. I hope the House will see this motion taken and we give our people a sense of justice. Because wherever we were, there were complaints about these abuses And as a House of Parliament, we must speak interest and seek a sense of justice for our people. I would like to inform the country that that was the first leg of our excursion. These activities resume on Monday, and we shall be in Greater PG for Monday. And we shall be able to report to the country as and when occasion arises. I thank you so much.
Thank you. I should let members of the press have questions. This is the time to ask them questions before you can go to Uganda. Yeah?
I have
Your name and media
I
house.
work with Sky TV. My question was to ask me about what Honorable Nabanja, Prime Minister, ordered, saying that you should not continue with what you're doing or with what you're exposing. What do you have to say about it?
Another question?
Give up.
It was the same question. Okay, give up.
Thank you. One, in the statement that the Prime Minister saying instead of carrying out your work was a mandate of oversight, you were just inciting some of these public servants. I'm citing an example, Kaolo, that you just went, incited the medical workers to demonstrate. What's your take on that?
Okay, any other question? Gideon?
Yeah, my name is Gideon Kimati. I report for Division. Maybe to be specific, now that you're going back to the field, are you visiting hospitals or given that warning of Nabanja, you will now go into schools and other things?
I think the Lord can respond to those if there are no other questions. And then we can go to Uganda.
Well, Nabanja, I have a lot of sympathy for my dear sister Nabanja. You know, it's very difficult to be relevant in this country. It's very difficult, and I can see her struggles at relevancy, and I'm sympathetic. Maybe if she has time, she can come along with me and learn a few things on how to work, and probably learn how governments can work. Maybe it was an admission on her part of the kind of heavy lifting on her shoulders, and I can sympathize. She's a humble woman, and I have an idea of what she knows and what she can do, but I can only say I'm sympathetic to the Prime Minister. She's a good woman with basic skills of life. Yeah, I can understand her frustration. What I can tell her is that there's time she can follow us. Like she went to Kaolo, she can be following us. I'll be in Greater PG. I'll visit all government facilities. In fact, I have been receiving petitions from police and the army to ask me visiting their installations as well. That actually, while I'm reporting about these despicable living conditions of health workers and teachers, that they too have very, very serious issues, and they need our attention, and I intend to visit them. So, the Prime Minister, I don't need her approval, tacit or direct, to do anything. She must really try to concentrate. And you see, her lack of concentration what took her to really go into Mawati, into what? And I wish the people around her can assist her to understand the state of her work, so that they don't scatter her into going into the kind of things that they want to touch. I am the law. I speak on behalf of 5 million people that voted the opposition in this country. So I don't need anybody's permission to do anything. And I know the realm, the breadth and width of my work, my powers and privileges. So, but I'm sympathetic to her. It's not easy to be relevant.
So we can go to Uganda?
Yes. Okay. In fact, I want to assure her that I'll be in Kakumiro soon. And, I asked for her company in Kakumiro. If she, I know she has a lot of time. She has a lot of time. We shall be in Kakumiro together. She can benefit from my ordinary skills to learn a few things here and there. Maybe she will survive the DPP. Let her be busy. Otherwise, she knows where she's supposed to be if this was a serious government. Uganda? Okay.
Some asked something about you inciting the...
No, yes, some about incitement. Well, I think again it goes back to what my friend the Prime Minister does understand. These health workers complained about being not paid for 3 months. I understand they've been intimidating healthcare workers in all facilities I'm about to visit. But I want to assure them I'll visit mortuaries, I'll visit everywhere. There's nothing like incitement. Unless you believe that these people are insane and they don't know their rights. So health workers are not paid for 3 months. They're supposed to take care of people's lives. They have children to take to school. Will the Prime Minister inform the country how many months has this happened? You know? These health workers have obligations. They have duties to their families.
Including loans.
They have loans. Actually, they informed me they have been evicted from where they rent because of lack of provision. You know? For them, they have nothing to sell. They don't have access to mabati to sell or whatever. So only they have are their skills to bequeath to the population. So nobody is interested in inciting the people. Incitement helps no one. These facilities are for public good. And the duty of any serious government is to ensure proper provision of public goods, including health, education, public infrastructure, security, and the rest. And where you are a leader of a government business and you are clueless on even your obligations, then you are forgivable. You are aware also, in a related manner, that in all these facilities, especially the referrals, they do not have medical interns. The interns are not there, again because the same regime has not made available a budget for the interns to be in these facilities. Yes. I have received petitions from these medical interns. The Amosaundu ebya Wakiso oba Mawokota ne Busiro. Tujja kuddira ebitundu ebitambula ku kitundu kubanga abakulembeze tebaaliwo endekiriro. Omulimu guno gujja kugenda mu maaso okuddamu n'emmande natandika mu bitundu ebya Mawokota ate Gomba wamu ne Butambala. Tunava Butambala ate twolekere ebitundu ebya Greater Luweero, omuli Kiboga kya Nkwanzi, omuli Kasanda, omuli Mityana, Mubende, njogera ku Ssingo, Busujju ne Buwekula. Obuvunaanyizibwa obwo tetukukola nti kinyumo ne kyekyo ekifuula gye tuli. Ensonga ze tutambulira enkulu twasalawo okwesiba ku nsonga zetuwulira ezisinga okuluma bannayuganda omuli ebyenjigiriza, amalwaliro, omuli emirimu egikolebwa mu bitundu, amakubo, omuli ebyobuvubi, ekibbattaka ekiri mu Buganda, okwonona obutonde bw'ensi. Era tubikoze, era bangi ku mmwe mubadde mubigoberera era ne mubituusa eri eggwanga. Njagala kuwaayo ka alipoota katonotono gye tutambulidde eggwanga n'okulitegeeza nti bituzudde mu byobulamu era byebyo bye muzze mulaba. Ekisooka, ebyobulamu byerabirwa, bikolwako mu ngeri ya kutuusa luwalo. Kutuusa oluwalo, wali waliwo akapande k'eddwaliro naye ng'ebiri eyo si bikolebwa mu ddwaliro. Amalwaliro mangi, abasawo bamunaganwa batono nnyo. Amalwaliro mangi tegalina ambulance. Amalwaliro mangi eddagala teririimu. Ekyokulabirako, ekitongole kya gavumenti ekirina okuwa amalwaliro eddagala mu mwaka omulamba kigabawo emirundi 6, naye amalwaliro gasinga ge tukyalidde gafunako emirundi 3, agakoze ennyo gafunye emirundi 4. Ekitegeeza nti eddagala abalwadde babawandiikira kugenda kuligula buguzi. So oyinza okugamba nti omulimu omunene ogw'abasawo mu malwaliro gano agasinga kukebera abalwadde na kubabuulira eddagala lyakugula, kubanga eddagala teririiyo. Amalwaliro agasinga gasembayo okufuna eddagala mu mwezi gwa Novemba gw'e11 omwaka oguwedde. So emyezi 7 egiseewo badde beemagaza bwemagaza. Amalwaliro mangi tegalina basawo bakugu, kubanga disitulikiti zitugamba teziweebwa ssente kufuna basawo abo. N'olwekyo abalwadde beerabirira. Embeera y'amalwaliro emuze mugiraba e Luweero, e Nakaseke, malwaliro ge twakyalira, e Buvuma, e Mukono. Eddwaliro ly'e Mukono lyatukwatako nnyo. Batutegeeza nti abakyala bamaama 800 be bazaalirawo buli mwezi, nirina ebitanda mu woodi y'abamaama ebitanda 6. Kakati akatuubagiro akali mu ddwaliro oyinza okukategeera, naye kyetwasanga emikono kumpi kyetwasanze n'ewalala mu ddwaliro oyinza okugamba nti erye bayita referral oba erijjulirwako amalwaliro amalala ery'Entebbe, bo balina bafuna bamaama abasukka 800 buli mwezi, naye balinawo ebitanda 2, era mubagamba bamaanyi nnyo ab'ebitanda 2, era beenyumiriza mu ekyo. Kakati embeera y'ebyobulamu, abasawo tebaliiyo, n'amalwaliro agamu nga mwalaba e Kawolo bamaze emyezi 3 nga tebasasulwa. Kakati omuntu yenna akulungira olugezigezi butasasula abasawo, bw'aba si musezi atambulira mu butamanya. Abasawo bakutte obulamu bwaffe mu ngalo, naye bantu si robots. Balina ebyetaago ng'abantu, basasula renti ng'abalala, basasula amasannyalaze n'amazzi gye basula, kubanga amalwaliro mangi tegalina amayumba g'abasawo, bawerera abaana mu masomero. Naye wano we tuli mu Parliament, singa ababaka bamala emyezi 3 nga si basasule kabeera katuubagiro. Kakati siwali mukulembeze yenna alina buvunaanyizibwa nga ddala naye omulimu gyakola agitegeera, ayinza okuvumirira abasawo ab'eddiini nga tebasasulwa, ate abeediimye nga gavumenti yeegagasaamu omu agatali amasavu nti ensimbi weeziri ekumanyiriza omusolo mungi zisobola kusasula abakozi. Bw'oba otuuse kuli bitasasula abakozi oba tukyali gavumenti, eryo erinnya liba likuvaako obuzi kirala. So eyo embeera y'amalwaliro. Amasomero twagalambudde, amasomero ebizimbe bigenda kukuba abaana. Waliwo essomero lyatukutteko nnyo, amasomero 2 ku bizimbe. Erisooka St Mary's riri Buvuma ku bizinga, limwalabye lirina abaana 405 n'omusomesa omu, naye twaliwo kizimbe kyonna naye okujjako ebisanjasanja n'ebiragala bye babikka ne batuulamu ne basomesa. era abasomesa amasomero ago bazira. Ebuvuma musomero eryo linyogeddeko abazadde beekolamu omulimu banoonyaamu ku bo asobola okwewaayo amanyi okusoma n'okuwandiika najja n'asomesa abaana ne bamuwaayo akantu ne baddeeka. Abo be baana b'eggwanga bwe batugamba nti basekyolinga future yaabwe. Mu ssomero erimu mu bitundu ebya Namataba buli kizimbe kisitamye. Headmaster alinayo ennyumba ku ssomero naye amala kussaawo biti na bifunfugu n'alinnyo giyingiramu ennyumba ye naye naye genda mugwira essaawa yonna. Essomero eryo baliyita Namataba Church of Uganda Primary School. Mugende mutwaleyo kukamera mulirage eggwanga bya gavumenti lunyolo lw'emyaka 38. Buli kizimbe kifukamidde, buli kimu kirimu olunyanfa, buli kimu kitonya. Kabuyonjo yagwamu naye batugambye abaana abagamba bagenda mpolampola omwomu nga weegendereza. Akayero eggwanga lyaffe. Ebyenjigiriza mwalabye e Luweero emakka w'abannaffe ze bayitirawo okuvumaganya makka. Abantu abawa ekitiibwa makka bw'ogamba nti Luweero makka oba bavuma amagufa. Abaana batula ku bifunfugu na ku biveera. Masa yatugamba nti aba P1 ne P2 batasobola kusitula bifunfugu baweebwa amagezi bagenda ebiveera. Abalina embavu waliwo ettala awo ganoonayo ekiyinja ekinene otuula ate olina okukikuuma kubanga munaasobola okukitwalako. So abaana abo basuubirwa nabo okusoma bavuganye mu nsi. Tuggyemu abantu ab'omugaso, abasomesa, abasawo n'abakulembeze mu mbeera gye basomeramu eyo. Era bannaffe beenyumiriza mu mbeera gye bataddemu abaana baffe okutambuliramu. Byebyo ebitalo ebyagwa ku byenjigiriza. Tubadde tulondoola n'ekibbattaka. Twategeeza twalaga eggwanga bye twasanga Eziroobwe, Mugomola Eziroobwe, mu Luweero, mu kyalo kye bayita Manyama. Okuli omusajja eyita Lutagambwa akuumibwa amagye ne poliisi emanyi mu kitundu. Bakwata abakazi, bakwata abaana bava ku nzizi ne ku masomero, bakoona ennyumba z'abamizibwa, emmere y'abantu bagiriisa ebisolo byabwe. Bino byali ku kamera namusolo gya ne mubiraba ne mwewuunya ekiri mu nsi muno. Naye ebyo bigenda mu maaso tewali afaayo. Bannaffe balowooza nti engeri gye baasaanyawo Luweero ab'eRuweero tebagoberera tewali ajja kubagoberera. Ekibbattaka kirimu amagye, kirimu poliisi. Twakisanze mu Luweero, twakisanze e Namataba. Y'ensonga y'emu ne ku kyenvuba kye bayita ebyenvuba embi. Abatuuze gye twayise yonna e Katosi, e Kasenyi, Kigungu n'ebitundu ebirala batutegeezezza e Buvuma nti bamanyi bulungi ebyenvuba embi mboozi buboozi enyumizibwa abo abeekomya ennyanja. Era bo bamanyi nti waliwo ekibinja ky'amagye, bakimanyi bulungi baliwo ekibinja ky'amagye kati kyakwasibwa gwa kuvuba. Balina amaato, balina obutimba, bavuba, bawamba n'ebyennyanja by'abatuuze nekyo bakikola. Tujja kusaba omuduumizi w'amagye ajja atuwulire aba UPDF Fishing Brigade bavubiraani. Ebyennyanja babitundawa era omusolo baguwa luddawa. Abatuuze balino balina evidensi y'abamanyi abakomandinga okuvuba. Balina n'amaato genjogeddeko agaliko ebigambo wajja wasema ag'abannamagye gavuba kyere bo tegalinaako katimba kabi, tegalinaako obudde bubi, gavuba nga bwe baagala. Ebyo ebiri ku byenvuba mu bitundu bye tuyiseemu okwolona obutonde bw'ensi. Era bannayuganda gye tuyise naddala gye twasanga e Kasenyi, Enkumba, mu kyalo ky'Enkumba, Nkumba Central, ewali abatuuze abavubuka abaali basima omusenyu n'enkumbi n'ebityo babagobako. Ababagobako b'amagye n'abapoliisi. Abapoliisi n'amagye mu bitundu bye bamanyi bulungi nnyo era weebali ne boogenda obasangawo bakuuma basima omusenyu mu nnyanja n'ebyuma, bo teboonona butonde bwansi. Abatuuze ab'enkumbi boonona obutonde bw'ensi. Naye ne bwogendayo amakubo gawo moggose bwe tebafaayo asaba ajjayo omusenyu. So embeera y'abamukwata mundu okuyigiriza bannansi okubagoba ku nnyanja ne okukola akalimo konna okubagoba ku ttaka nga bye twasanze e Mukono era ku kyalo ekyo eky'Ennamataba. Brigade ya Besigye Benkunda gwe bategeezezza abatuuze bamumanyi bulungi, n'amagye twagasanzewo ku kyalo bagobako abatuuze ne babbako ne bamenya amayumba gaabwe ate nga beddiriza ettaka lye baagula ku muntu y'omu ne ba agenti be. Ezo ensonga zitukwatako nnyo era bimu tugenda okubuuza abakulu bano ba minisita nga palamenti ezzeemu. Twali kubuusabuusa ensonga y'obutonde bw'ensi, ekitongole kya NEMA ndooza kyalemereddwa. Obuvunaanyizibwa bwakyo eri eggwanga kyabusuula dda, bali mu kusuubula. Situmanyi oba abannema batya amagye oba abannema kati n'amagye gali mu bannema, ekimu ku byo. Bannaffe abakulu ekitongole kya NEMA bwe muba nga mulemereddwa, omuntu mulamu avayo n'ategeeza eggwanga nti mpambiddwa oba nawambibwa, ne tujja bavunaana okwonna kw'obutonde bw'ensi okugenda mu maaso okukolebwa nga mutunula butunuzi nga mufiire ekyo mugunye oba nga muli mu kkobaane n'abantu bana bonona obutonde bw'ensi. Tujja kubuuza minisita avunaanyizibwa etteeka lye twayisa ery'okuvuba eryagoba amagye ku nnyanja ne tussaayo poliisi lyalagawa era baki erikola. Naye mu byonna ne bwogenda ku nnyanja otegeera butegeezi ki ekiriwo nti ebyokulemesa envuba embi tebiriiwo, naye embeera ya kizikiza kiyamba mu mizi. Ab'amagye be baliyo be bavuba bawamba ebyennyanja ekigungu. Abakyala batutegeeza abakalira ebyennyanja ne bajja bulungi ebyennyanja ebitagaanibwa mu nnyanja ne babikalirira, baba bali awo ekiro nga amagye gabinonyi ne gabitwala. Kati embeera eyo abatuuze gye batuusibwako. Mwebale nnyo. Mama wani that's okay. Ekimu ku bintu byetuzudde gye batutambulira y'embeera embi ennyo ey'amalwaliro nga bwe bategeezezza. Naye ekimu ku bikulu ennyo ebiri mu malwaliro ntwaliyo basawo. Amalwaliro gano gonna amakulu ebbanga lyonna abasawo abasinga okugayambako be bano abasawo abali mu mwaka ogw'okugezesebwa bayitibwa medical interns, naye tebaliiyo mu malwaliro. Kyokka mumanyi bulungi nti ekibagaanya okubeerayo gavumenti yagaana okubawa ssente, kati emyezi genda kuwera 4 bandibadde batandika dde okukola mu Gwokusatu, tebaliiyo. Kakati omuteesiteesi wa minisitule y'ebyobulamu yayisa ekiwandiiko sabbiiti ewedde era minisita wange w'ebyobulamu Dr. Batoya yakiddamu ekiwandiiko ekyo eky'obujega ekyokugamba nti abasawo beesasulire, abalina ssente beesasulire. Ekisooka kya busosoze ng'ojjako okuba nti kirimu obutamanya obwenkanidde awo. Ekyaba medical interns okuba nti gavumenti erina okubasasulira si buyambi, tebawa buyambi, ge mateeka. Tekitegeeza kiringa nga gavumenti bw'eneegamba nti engeri gye mba Masaka City nsasula abakozi ba Masaka City ab'ekitongole kya gavumenti aba Masaka City Council. Okusasula abakozi abo mulimu gwa gavumenti, okuwa ba medical interns bye bakozesa mulimu gwa gavumenti. Era nja kusaba ekibiina ekigatta abasawo ekya Uganda Medical Association obutakkiriza abasawo abajja nga bakulunga olugezigezi ngo beesasulidde. Ekyo bwe munaakikola mujja kuba muliddemu bannammwe olukwe era ne profession yammwe mujja kuba muginafuyiza. Nategeezeddwa ba interns abamu nti balina olukalala abeeyita abasawo abagenda okugenda nga bakaala kantu bo bagenze ba interns bangamba waliwo ba ghost interns. Era ninze palamenti etuule tunoonyereze ku buli ttendekero eryatendeka abasawo kituwa olukalala lw'abasawo abalina okugenda ku internship. Ekigambo ky'aba ghost medical interns kyankanze nnyo. Naye mu ggwanga eno ekulemberwa ba ghosts abali wa ghosts muli nsonda tekyewuunyisa. Naye parliament tuzijja kubanga ekifaako nnyo ekigoberere nejjala kusaba abakulembeze ba UMA, Uganda Medical Association, obutakkiriza abasawo abo ab'ekimpatiira. Waliwo ekirenzi kye mwalaba ekyafukamira ekifamirira Mwami Museveni kyekikulemberamu akabinja ako akabuzaabuza abasawo. Obunaanyizibwa bwa gavumenti ekirenzerenze ekyo kisobola kubanga oli musawo omutendeke oyisanga kirereesa. Obuvunaanyizibwa bwa gavumenti okusasula ssente ezo, so si bazadde abasasulira dde abaana bwabwe nga bamanyi waliyo etteeka eriwaliza gavumenti okusasulira internship. Ekyewuunyisa amateeka si mazibu okutegeera weegali gonna. N'etteeka ly'abakozi Employment Act eri very clear, Public Service Guidelines ziri very clear. Simanyi lwaki ekitongole ky'ebyobulamu ekisobola kuwunyiriza kiba tekiraba. Ensonga ya Prime Minister nagiwulidde. Mukazi mukulu oyo muwe ekitiibwa nga bw'ali mukazi mukulu. Naye ndowooza byatamanyi asaba obuyambi ayambibwe. Ate bayinza okumuyamba omuwa obuyambi bw'aba afunyewo akaaganya ajje mumubuulire ebintu ebitambula. Era waddembe okumvaako emabega gy'entambula abeeko by'ayiga. Ajja amperekereko kubanga ne kakumirondi yakugenda. So yeetaaga okuyamba. Tusobola munyiigira atendewaliddwa. Tosobola kubanga gwira ku government business oli ku kino oli mu mabaati oli tosobola kufuna budde butegeera bintu bikulu. Naye saamunyiigidde namusonyiye oluusi obutamanya busonyiyibwa. So saagala nnyo munenya. Nejjala kutegeeza Bannayuganda nti yagenda mu maaso n'obuvunaanyizibwa buno. Abakano be mulaba balina obulumi bw'amaanyi mu bitundu byabwe. Si bano bokka gavumenti na bwaba opposition naye n'aba-NRM bangi nnyo balaajana. Nejjala kubagamba nti mulekerawo okulaajana. Obuvunaanyizibwa bwaffe ng'abakulembeze abalondebwa abantu okuggyayo embeera eri mu ggwanga. Mukyala Nabbanja bayagala okukweka gavumenti y'ebyekola, amalwaliro agasibe n'amasomero agaggale, abantu ndowooza babajjanjabire Kololo. Lwe naasanga ekipande nga kya ssomero kya ddwaliro nja kukyamawo. Ate n'ebitongole ebirala bimpeereza obubaka n'amabaluwa amatongole, poliisi, amagye, n'enambula embeera gye balimu. Era mbakakasa nti nja kutuuka. Mukyala Nabbanja bw'anaaba ebizibu by'alina bikendedde nga tagenze mu kkomera ajja ngoberere abeeko by'ayiga.